All right, so good morning. All right, so today we're gonna be learning a little bit about Nearpod. Now, if those of you who know about Nearpod, could you raise your hand if you know a little bit?
My daughter told me like a few things, told me to learn to use it. I was about to show me how.
Okay. So
I know.
hopefully today I can show you guys
Nothing.
a little bit. All right, good.
She told me it was fun.
All right. So we look at our agenda for today. Um, we're just gonna go through briefly about what Nearpod is. We're gonna try to build a simple Nearpod, and then we're just gonna wrap it up real quick. All right. So first, let's look at a little bit about what Nearpod is. So what is Nearpod? Nearpod is an interactive assessment and presentation app website that can be utilized in and out of the classroom. A teacher can use the site to create web content, polls, quizzes, videos, images, and more. Teachers can also explore lessons that have already been created and have students explore virtual reality. These are just some of the advantages of Nearpod. One advantage is easy to create interactive classes. So you can upload a PDF or start a new presentation and add interactive features that can easily capture students' attention. Students can also use Nearpod for interactive virtual field trips. This is a great way for students to get an immersive experience without actually leaving the classroom. I actually use this one a lot in my class because, like with social studies, a lot of the text is old and it doesn't really relate to them because they're virtual, they're digital kids. So these virtual reality trips, they really give them that experience. You can download ready-to-use Common Core state standards, aligned lessons, and you can search for pre-made interactive multimedia presentations from distinguished educators to find the one that fits your unit. So you don't always necessarily have to make a Nearpod. You can go through and search Nearpods that already have been made. So that's one key thing that I always use too. All right, this is just an interface of kind of what Nearpod looks like. You can engage and share content assessments. So the multimedia content on Nearpod captures the students' attention, keeping them focused and minimizing off-task behavior. Students are also excited to use the iPads and having to keep the help will keep students engaged. The teacher is able to link his or her lesson to Google Classroom so students can access it without teacher assistance. So another feature about Nearpod, like you can put your link on Google Classroom, you can link it, and students can access it without you having to be, at the board teaching. They can do it at their own pace.
They won't have to have their own login.
No, they can just have all they need is the specific code and go in, and it keeps track of what all their work. As long as you keep that Nearpod, it keeps their work. It's good for distance learning and monitoring students. Students can join a Nearpod session wherever they have access to the site. They can be in the classroom or at home. This makes assigning homework on the site an easy alternative to traditional paperwork. The teacher can also observe students' progress and control students' devices. Teachers are able to see students' screens and know that students are on task. So that's another good thing I like about Nearpod is when you're working and they're working, you can see exactly what they're doing in real time. And you can control like their screen and what they can access and whatnot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so classroom use. Assessing students' progress. The teacher can assign quizzes to the class for progress monitoring. The students finish the quiz, Nearpod will automatically make a report for the teacher. It takes the pressure of grading off of the teacher's hands. So that's another thing. You can put quizzes in there, and it grades for you automatically. And this is just like the interface of what it looks like when you want to add the different quizzes, pose quizzes, or draw it. Student self-assessment. Students will be able to monitor their own progress and let the teacher know when they're struggling. The teacher can insert a poll into the lesson in which the students will answer questions about their opinions. This information is saved in student reports. So you can also you can poll students along in your lesson to see where they are, how comfortable they feel, if they feel like they're grasping the content or not. And that's just kind of what it looks like. A simple presentation for whole class or small group. Nearpod is a good tool to create a simple presentation for the entire class. If students are using iPads, the presentation can be transmitted to those as well. If the lesson is for a small group, the teacher can isolate use of the app to the students in that group or even just one student. So another thing that I do typically is if I'm working with small groups, I can have my small group working on a Nearpod versus while everybody else is working on something else. So it's good for small groups as well. All right, and these are just some images of Nearpod. That's with virtual reality. This is just students working on Nearpod in class. All right, and this is just a quick video about how it works.
Nearpod is another presentation software that's very similar to Pear Deck, and it allows you to have interactive instruction with students while you're presenting slides. And so this makes it a little bit more synchronous, a little bit more fun. So here's a little example of what it can do. You can use Nearpod for your entire lesson. You can create quick videos. You can create quick formative assessments and gamified activities. You can review student work. You can teach in multiple ways, as I said, with live participation, which is synchronous focus, student-paced, which is asynchronous, and front of class presentations. These are all new features, probably because of what's been happening lately with online learning. You can already create, or you can use your already created presentations in PowerPoint and Google Slides and so on and so forth to adapt them for Nearpod. And there's also pre-made lessons and activities built within. So you create your lesson. It can embed interactive slides. You can allow students to give you feedback based on what they may already know, or to engage in questions. And there's many, many features to Nearpod. As I mentioned, it's really focused on allowing you to pace out lessons to make students a little bit more comfortable with how they are accessing the content, especially for English language learners who may need that little bit of extra time or a few extra scaffolds to make things a little bit more engaging. Again, there are many plans, just like with Pear Deck, for how Nearpod works for their pricing. But the good news is that there is pricing that's meant for teachers, and it's totally free. You can have a free plan, 100 megabytes of storage, 40 students per lesson, and you get many of the features that are found in the higher levels. And again, this is meant as a scaffold. It's one more thing that you can use with students to helpfully reach them. If it's the one thing that makes students be engaged, then you've done your job. But I just wanted to show you Nearpod. If you have any questions, gbailey@swboces.org.
All right, so that was just a quick video about Nearpod and what it was. And this will also, all of this stuff that I'm showing you guys today, the agenda and a list of directions of how to use Nearpod will be uploaded in the school's drive. So if you ever want to access it or have questions, you can always refer to that. All right, so let's go ahead and look into trying to build a Nearpod. All right, so once you access Nearpod, you go in, you create your account, and this is the home screen interface right here. And as you see, I already have some Nearpods already that I created. So let's just kind of go through to see how you want to create your Nearpod. So usually whenever you create your account, you can you're gonna see this right here. It says create a lesson. So you're gonna select create a lesson. All right, and once you get to create a lesson, you're gonna see this tab right here. It's called add content and activities. Now you can also click the icon above it that just says add news. It's the same thing. So I'm gonna click add content and activities. And as you see, it's a lot of different things that you can add in there. So you have an option of doing like regular slides like you would with PowerPoint. You can add a video, different web content. It has the virtual field trip here. If you have a slideshow already made for PowerPoint, you can always upload that, but it can't be too large because in order for it to be like as big as you want, you have to pay for it. But for the free, it can only be so big. All right, so what we're gonna do this morning, we're just gonna do a simple and use the basic slides. All right, so let's just as you would when you're working with PowerPoint, you can add your title in. So I'm just gonna say mammals, and you have the option to upload a file of some sort. So if you have anything on your drive, like a picture or, like I said earlier, like a PowerPoint or anything, you can always upload that here. And once you finish with your slide, you always click save and exit.
Each slide you have to save.
Yeah, for each slide you have to click save and exit. All right, and you can also add, so within those slides, you can add different activities. So you want to click on activities icon right here, and they have a lot of different ones. Open-ended questions, time to climb. That's more like a Kahoot in a way. They have draw it, where kids and draw on the screen the responses. The collaborative board, that's one of my favorites that I usually use. Is everybody has to participate, and you as a teacher have control of, you see what they write in before you post it on the board, so that's a good one. The poll is a good one, matching pairs, and like I stated earlier, you can put your own quizzes in, and it grades it for you. Fill in the blanks, memory tests, and also Flipgrid. So one of the ones that I use most often is collaborative board. And you just kind of enter in your topic here, whatever you're talking about. So we started with mammals. All right, and you put your description as to what you want them to do. And once you finish that, and you could also choose different styles to go along, whatever fits you. And you could click save. All right. And once you finish your adding every activity and every slide that you want, you can just click save and exit that. Well, you can always click preview as well, just to see how it looks to you. And sometimes it takes a little bit for it to load. And you can click preview. And there's the collaborative board for you to try to use.
Where do you search for the ones that are already made?
Okay, let me show you. That's a good question. All right, so Ms. Brand had a great question. She said, "What do you search for the Nearpods that are already made?" So you go to Nearpod Library.
That's like your home screen.
That's the home screen. And you click on Nearpod Library, and on the side you can search for lessons, videos, or activities, or you can just search for all three. They have where you can select by subject. So if you want to, let's say we're searching for ELA, and we want to search by 3rd grade, and you can also search it by whatever your state standards. So we're in South Carolina. And you can search it by the strand. So
I wonder if there's any cultural and historical.
I know, right?
cultural and historical.
Historical.
Whatever our
Text.
thing is compared. How does it influence the 7
Explain,
characters of
yeah.
plot?
Oh yeah. So let's say.
Yeah, explain.
So let's look. So you said plot.
I guess just say story elements, Mr. Arnhart.
Okay, so story elements.
Mm-hmm.
Our standard's about to kill us.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
We did not have a good PLT.
No.
Alright. So you can once you search story elements, there's a lot of different, activities up here. I typically like to use they have the different videos, like interactive videos, kind of like Edpuzzle, and they can go through as the video is playing. They have to go through and answer those questions, and it locks their screen to where they can't go to anything else but answer that question. So that's another good one. They have the flashcards for different if you want to recognize what story elements are, they can go through and do that. And you can also make those flashcards into what story that you're working on. So that's another good thing.
How do I assign it to Google Classroom?
How do you assign Google Classroom? Great question.
Go ahead, Vereen, you got it, because I was wondering that too.
All right, so if you want to assign one to Google Classroom, so if I want to use this one, so if you want to use this Nearpod, you click on that Nearpod and you select Add to My Lessons at the bottom. All right, so I must be full. My spaces. Nearpod is full, so I'm gonna delete one.
Oh, I don't want to mess you up.
Oh,
Right.
Oh no, you're fine. We can delete the one I just made. Alright, so let's just.
So in order, you have to save it to your library before you can.
You have to add it to your library. Let's say we want to use this one right here. I can click Add to My Lessons. So let's just use one of my originals there. So if you want to, after you add it to your lessons, it's going to pop up in your home screen just like this.
Okay.
You can select student pace. Continue. And once you click student pace, it has the different options at the bottom to where you can add it.
Oh,
So
okay.
if I want to add it to my Google Classroom, I can just select that.
Gotcha.
And the icon comes up, and you can select your class. Select create assignment, and then it comes up to where you can just post it, and it posts it automatically.
So then it'll just put a link there and they go straight to it.
It'll just put a link there and it'll go straight to it, and they don't have to necessarily log in. As long as they have that, usually it puts it in for the code automatically if they can just access that link. And they just have to put their name.
Okay, so they need the app on their devices, right?
They don't need the app.
Okay.
They can just go to it straight on the site. The link will take them straight to it.
Do we need an
We
app?
need an account, yeah.
We need an account.
Yeah, you have to have an account.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's free. It's free. It is free. The only thing about the free is that you can only have with so many Nearpods. So you saw how I was trying to add so many.
Yeah.
It can only hold, I'll say about maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
But that's good enough. I think so.
But once you put it in your Google Classroom, you can delete it from your gotcha.
So then on your home screen, you can delete the ones you've already used.
Right.
To put new ones.
Mhm.
Just keep flip-flopping.
Yeah.
And keep alternating. That's right. So guys,
Cool.
if you have any questions, like I said, all of this will be uploaded into the school's drive. So if you have any questions, you can always see me, email me, reach out to me. And that's really it, guys.
Very cool.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
Thank
info.
you.
I'm gonna try it.
No problem.